When Erik ten Hag convinced Manchester United to spend $100 million on Antony, he promised an Eredivisie standout with exceptional talent. What they actually got was a one-dimensional winger whose goal contribution rate plummeted to 1 every 662 minutes, making him among the lowest performing Premier League wingers. How does a player transform from Ajax hero to Premier League disappointment so rapidly? There was a pivotal moment where everything changed. Today we're investigating exactly when Antony's career trajectory shifted, examining the statistical evidence between his downfall and whether his recent revival at Real Betis proves Manchester United was the problem all along. The Ajax Phenomenon, analysing Antony's rise in the Eredivisie. To understand why Erik ten Hag staked his reputation on Antony, we need to travel back to Amsterdam, where a young Brazilian winger was rapidly becoming the tactical keystone of ten Hag's championship winning system at Ajax. Between 2020 and 2022, Antony accumulated 24 goals and 22 assists across 82 appearances for Ajax. His technical ability consistently broke down Eredivisie defences, averaging 2.2 successful dribbles per 90 minutes with a goal contribution every 141 minutes. Elite output for a wide player in any European league. What made Antony valuable in ten Hag's system was his versatility. While operating from the right wing, Ajax's fluid positional play created space for him to attack in multiple ways. Their possession-dominant approach, typically controlling 60 to 65% of the ball, allowed Antony to isolate defenders without facing sustained defensive pressure. His Champions League performances proved most convincing for United's decision-makers, with 2 goals and 4 assists in 8 matches during the 2021-22 campaign. His goal against Borussia Dortmund and game-changing display against Sporting Lisbon demonstrated he could deliver against high-caliber opposition, suggesting he might bridge the gap to Premier League competition. This is where the Eredivisie tax becomes relevant, a pattern where statistical output in Dutch football diminishes significantly in more physically demanding leagues. Memphis Depay's early United transfer illustrates this phenomenon. Despite dominating with 22 goals and 5 assists in his final PSV season, Depay managed just 2 goals and 0 assists in his first Premier League campaign. Scouts praise Antony's exceptional positional discipline and tactical intelligence at Ajax, like a precision instrument in ten Hag's system. He consistently made proper decisions about maintaining width, drifting inside, or making vertical runs. The team's possession-dominant style delivered the ball to him in advantageous positions, while Dušan Tadic's intelligent movement created defensive imbalances for Antony to exploit. The critical oversight in United's evaluation was how Ajax's system masked Antony's limitations. His one-footedness was less problematic because Ajax's quick ball circulation created scenarios where cutting inside remained effective. His lack of explosive pace wasn't exposed because Ajax's positional superiority meant he rarely needed to win foot races. Dutch football analytics consultant Jans Mortensen noted, "What's concerning about Antony isn't his statistics but his technical profile. His success depends on receiving the ball in specific contexts. When forced to create independently against set defences, his limitations become apparent." This raises questions about whether United properly assessed how Antony's skills would translate to the Premier League's restricted space and higher physical demands. Statistical Collapse, tracking Antony's performance decline at United. The statistical collapse of a high-profile signing isn't just disappointing, it's mathematical proof of a fundamental miscalculation. When Manchester United paid that astronomical fee for Antony, they weren't just buying his Ajax performances, they were betting on his continued development. That evaluation became painfully relevant when his numbers at United didn't just decline, they plummeted off a statistical cliff. Antony briefly showed promise at Old Trafford, scoring in his first 3 Premier League appearances, then reality struck. His performance cratered, revealing one of the most dramatic statistical collapses in recent transfer history. The once electric Brazilian who once terrorised Eredivisie defences suddenly looked ordinary by Premier League standards. His successful dribbles per 90 minutes dropped from 2.2 at Ajax to 1.5 at United, like watching a brilliant flame reduced to embers. He simply couldn't beat defenders with the frequency expected of an elite winger, leaving fans who had celebrated his arrival now muttering in frustration at each predictable cutback. His goal contribution rate became even more alarming. At United, this figure fell to 1 contribution every 662 minutes, 4 times worse than his Ajax rate. When visualised against other Premier League attackers, this placed him in the bottom tier. Social media erupted with criticism, while pundits who initially praised the signing began questioning United's recruitment strategy. Performance data revealed further concerns. Antony's metrics placed him in the 50th percentile for shot-creating actions among European wingers and attacking midfielders. United's £81 million investment produced thoroughly average returns in creating scoring opportunities. His percentile rankings tell a deeper story. 38th percentile for goal and shot creation, 37th percentile for passing. These numbers expose significant struggles in the on-ball aspects that supposedly justified his massive fee. Match analysts highlighted these limitations weekly as defenders quickly identified and neutralised his patterns. Premier League defenders learned he would always cut back to his left foot, creating predictable patterns they easily countered. The evidence increasingly suggested his limitations were being exposed at a higher level of competition. What makes his case fascinating is his spiky statistical profile. Relatively strong possession metrics, but alarming weakness in dribbling and chance creation. This placed him in the bottom quarter of Premier League wingers for crucial attacking attributes. The contrast became stark when comparing him with teammates like Alejandro Garnacho, who demonstrate the explosive, multi-dimensional attacking play expected of modern wingers. Antony frequently reached promising positions but failed to capitalise, a pattern evident in match after match, leading to audible groans from the Old Trafford faithful. This statistical collapse wasn't merely about adaptation or confidence. The raw numbers revealed fundamental limitations that weren't properly assessed during transfer evaluation. A player with such a distinct profile requires a specific system to thrive, something that didn't exist at Manchester United despite Ten Hag's presence. The one-trick pony, technical analysis of Antony's playing style. Those fundamental limitations in Antony's game weren't just statistical anomalies. They manifested in a playing style so predictable that Premier League defenders could essentially write a 3-word scouting report: he cuts inside. The technical puzzle of Antony's game became immediately apparent to anyone watching him for more than a few matches, raising serious questions about how Manchester United's scouting department failed to identify such an obvious weakness in an £81 million player. Premier League defenders quickly developed a straightforward strategy: show him onto his weaker right foot and force retreat. During one telling moment against Everton, Antony found himself in excellent position to drive forward into space. Instead of exploiting this opportunity, he hesitated and played a conservative backwards pass, squandering a potentially dangerous attack. Without the ability to go outside or beat defenders with pace, Antony became a one-trick pony in a league where such predictability is fatal, especially for an asset acquired at such a premium cost. This technical limitation created a frustrating cycle where promising attacks repeatedly fizzled out when the ball reached his feet. His signature move, once an asset, transformed into a liability that defenders could anticipate and neutralise with routine efficiency. What makes Antony's profile particularly problematic is how it contradicts what the modern Premier League demands from wide attackers. The English top flight favours multi-dimensional wingers who can attack in various ways. Driving inside, going outside, combining with teammates, or accelerating past defenders. Arsenal's Bukayo Saka and Gabriel Martinelli exemplify this versatility, constantly keeping defenders guessing with unpredictable movements. Antony became tactically imprisoned by his limitations. Defenders could overcommit to blocking his preferred route without fear of being beaten elsewhere. This defensive approach neutralised his strongest attribute while exposing his weaknesses. His off-ball movement, a genuine strength from his Ajax days, became largely irrelevant at United. His intelligent positioning often created promising situations. Without the technical toolbox to capitalise, these strengths were wasted. Like a chef with excellent ingredients but only one cooking technique. Antony's technical profile raises questions about player environments and league suitability. Early evidence from his Real Betis loan suggests he might be experiencing a revival in La Liga, where the technical nature and more measured defensive approaches provide a more hospitable environment for his specific limitations. This doesn't mean Antony was misjudged as a player. Rather, he was miscast in the Premier League context. Some players' technical profile align better with certain leagues, and evidence increasingly suggests Antony's game suits La Liga's tactical landscape better than the Premier League's relentless physicality and defensive adaptability. The resurgence we're now witnessing at Real Betis tells a compelling story. In just 6 appearances, Antony has delivered 2 goals, 2 assists and won 2 penalties, a striking contrast to his Old Trafford struggles where his potential remained largely untapped. His flourishing partnership with Isco demonstrate what becomes possible in a supportive tactical environment. Manchester United's recruitment approach invested enormous sums without properly assessing whether Antony's specific attributes will translate to Premier League demands. highlighting systemic evaluation failures across their transfer strategy. The Eredivisie to Premier League pathway demands sophisticated analysis. Antony's journey shows talent requires the right environment, tactical fit and cultural understanding. Present at Betis, but missing in Manchester. When will clubs learn that context matters as much as star power?